Good morning, students. Today we are going to start chapter 12 of science, class 7th, reproduction in plants, part 1. All living organisms have a characteristic that they can produce their own kind. This production of the offspring from the parents is called reproduction. Now, modes of reproduction in plants. Plants have two kinds of parts, vegetative parts and reproductive parts. Vegetative parts. These are the parts of the plant that plays an major role in the life cycle of a plant, such as preparation of food, transportation of food, water and nutrients, etc. For example, roots, stems and leaves. Reproductive parts. These are the parts of a plant that play a major role in the reproduction process in plants, for example, flowers and fruits. Reproduction in plants can be categorized into two types. Asexual reproduction. The new plants are produced without using the seeds. In this process, generally the leaves, stems and roots participate in reproduction. Sexual reproduction. The new plants are produced with the help of the seeds of a plant. In this process, the flowers of the plants participate in reproduction. Shoot. A young plant is often termed as a shoot. Generally, a shoot is regarded as a part of the plant which has stems, leaves and flowers. Node. It is a part of the stem or a branch of a plant from where the leaves arise. Vegetative buds. Sometimes buds are present in the leaves that are capable of developing into shoots. These are called vegetative buds. Now, different types of asexual reproduction. First, vegetative propagation. As the name suggests, this type of reproduction takes place with the help of the vegetative parts of the plant. Only one parent can produce the identical offspring in vegetative propagation. Natural means of vegetative propagation by roots. Plants that have tuberous roots, that is, roots which are used as a storage organ in plants, participate in vegetative propagation. In order to grow new plants, these tuberous roots are sown in the soil. There are buds present on the fruits that grow above the ground and a new plant is formed. Example, sweet potato and dahlia. Vegetative propagation by stem. Stem tubers. Just like tuberous roots, some plants have tuberous stems. These stem tubers store the nutrients and bear nodes. These nodes bear buds that form the new plants. Example, potato. Runners. Some plants grow along the ground and contain modified stems called runners. These runners contain buds that can produce roots and stems. Example, strawberries. Vegetative propagation by leaves. Some plants have leaves that contain buds that can develop into a new plant. Example, bryophyllum. Artificial means of vegetative propagation. Cutting. It is a method in which a cutting from a plant is taken and planted. This cutting is a part of the stem or the branch of the plant. Example, roses. Grafting. Sometimes two plants are joined together so that both of them can provide the desired characteristics to the new plant. One plant remains rooted in the ground, which is called the stalk, and provides the essential nutrients and water, while the other plant stem is attached to it. In this way, a new plant develops. Example, apples. Advantages of vegetative propagation. The plants that are produced with vegetative propagation grow faster than those that are produced with sexual reproduction. The plants that reproduce with vegetative reproduction have fruits and flowers ahead of time. The plants that are produced have exactly the same characteristics that of their parents. Now second, budding. Yeast is an organism that contains a single cell. It is a fungi, not a plant. It can propagate every few hours if the proper amount of nutrients are available to it. As the yeast finds favorable conditions, a small bulb-like projection produces from the yeast called bud. The bud grows gradually and then gets detached from the parent yeast. This new cell then grows, measures and produces more cells. Sometimes a chain of buds is formed which leads to the production of a large number of yeast altogether. Fragmentation. Algae like Spirogyra generally reproduce by the process of fragmentation, in which they divide themselves into multiple parts. As soon as the algae find enough water and nutrients, it fragments grows into new individuals. This process continues and algae multiply quickly in a short period of time. And last, spore formation. Some plants contain spores that float in the air and cause asexual reproduction. A spore has a hard protective cover which protects it from the unfavourable environmental conditions like temperature and humidity. As a result, the spores can travel long distances and survive for a long duration of time. As soon as they find favorable conditions such as moisture and nutrients, they germinate and form a new plant. For example, moss and ferns propagate in this way. Thank you.